If you work with SolidWorks assemblies, you probably know that exporting a clean bill of materials to Excel is not always as quick as it should be. Usually, you may need to open SolidWorks, create a drawing, insert a bill of materials table, adjust the layout, export it to Excel, and then clean up the result manually. In this video, I will show a faster way to export a SolidWorks bill of materials using Solidise. We will choose the assembly, review the bill of materials, enable images, select the numbering mode, and export a clean Excel file that is easier to use for procurement, manufacturing, or internal review. Let's start by selecting the assembly that we want to use for the bill of materials export and go into Settings. Here we can set up the bill of materials numbering. There are three main options: top level only, parts only, and indented. Top level only shows only the main components directly inside the assembly. This is useful when you want a simple overview of the first level structure without expanding every subassembly. Parts only lists the individual parts from the assembly. This is helpful when procurement or manufacturing only needs the part level items, regardless of which subassembly they come from. Indented keeps the full assembly structure. It shows parts and subassemblies in a hierarchy, so you can see how everything is organized inside the main assembly. Next, we can include part images in the bill of materials export. Solidise uses the stored preview images from the index files and adds them to the Excel output. This gives each item a visual reference, making it easier to check parts quickly and reduce confusion when reviewing the bill of materials. Next, we can choose to merge configurations per assembly export. When multiple configurations of the same assembly are selected, Solidise can export them into one Excel file instead of creating separate files for each configuration. Each configuration gets its own quantity column, making it easier to compare part usage across different product variants in one clean bill of materials. Next, we can choose the export folder location. This controls where the Excel bill of materials files will be saved. We can also decide whether each export should go into its own separate folder, or whether all files should be placed together in one output folder. Separate folders can keep exports organized by assembly or configuration, while one shared folder can be useful when you want all generated files in a single location for quick review. Once everything is configured, exporting the bill of materials is just a matter of clicking one button. Solidise will generate the Excel file or files using the selected numbering mode, image settings, configuration options, and export folder structure. Here we can see the Excel file with the complete bill of materials and image thumbnails included. Now let me show you how the Excel output looks without image thumbnails. I'll update the setting, save the changes, and export the bill of materials again. Always remember to save the settings after making changes, so the next export uses the correct configuration. Before I export again, I'm going to clean up the column data a bit. This helps make the bill of materials cleaner and easier to review, especially when sharing it with procurement, manufacturing, or other team members. After that, I'll export the Excel file again. In this Excel file, you can see that the column order matches the setup in Solidise. That means it is a good idea to configure the columns and arrange them in the right order before exporting. This gives you a cleaner bill of materials file with less manual editing afterwards. Let me also show you how batch bill of materials export works. Instead of exporting one assembly at a time, I can select multiple assembly files and run the export in one step. Solidise will generate the bill of materials outputs based on the same settings, making the process fast, simple, and easy to repeat. Now I'll show how the indented bill of materials option looks in the Excel export. This option keeps the assembly structure visible, so subassemblies and their related parts are shown in a hierarchy. It is useful when you need to understand not only which components are used, but also where they belong inside the full assembly. For more complex products, the indented view can make the bill of materials easier to follow, because it preserves the parent and child relationships between assemblies, subassemblies, and parts. As you can see in the Excel item column, the numbering is indented based on the subassembly structure. This is one of the most useful bill of materials formats when an engineer needs to send a parts list to procurement for ordering. It keeps the assembly hierarchy clear, so procurement can see not only which parts are required, but also how they are grouped inside the product. This is especially helpful for companies that do not use an ERP system and rely on Excel files to manage purchasing and manufacturing information.